Hey there and welcome to another project. Today we're going to take these Red Wing 901 4s. These are the Gentleman Traveler, at least that's what they were called when I bought them 10, 15 years ago. Now typically I see them referred to the Beckman. I'm not sure what the difference is. But anyways, going to take these and put on, the soles are deteriorating. The heel is ground down pretty far. And I'm going to make these look a bit like the 8165 is going to put on a Christy sole. Now this is made by Walkbase, not Vibram. I've done a bunch of Vibrams. I picked up this Walkbase at Sederma Leather in Los Angeles. It's about half the price of the Vibram Christy. And from the reviews I've read, it's comparable, maybe a little lighter, could be a little bit harder wearing, but I'll find out. So online I really like the look of what I've seen of the, I think it's the 8165s with the crepe wedge sole. So I thought I would give these a go since they need to be resoled. So my plan for the day is to take the heel off, take off this rubber outsole. I'm going to see if I can leave the stitches, if I can kind of cut around the stitches, peel it off, kind of maybe hammer those stitches down. There's a little bit of a gap right there that they've cut, so I'll need to sand that a little bit flush and then reattach the sole and grind it down. All right, so let's get started. All right, first I'm going to stick this under there. Start prying this up. Much harder than I thought. I don't know that I've done this job before. Almost. I've been working on this for like 15 minutes and almost got it out. Look at that. All right, I finally got that heel block. So I'm gonna hammer these down a little bit because I don't want this heel to start pulling up. And then I'll do the next boot. Actually, I think before I work on the next boot, I'll start seeing how I can peel this stuff off of this old half sole, rubber half sole off. Ugh, it's just crumbling. Ugh. Ugh. This is how it's coming out as I scrape this stuff away. You can see just the handfuls of deteriorated rubber on these soles. So ideally, okay, so I'm gonna sand the soles flat, get rid of this little ledge there. Ideally, I wouldn't sew, or I wouldn't sand down these threads, but they are already ripped. But fortunately, they're still knotted together deep inside of the welt and the outsole and midsole. So not great, but I am going to sand this down flat. Might get some sparks over here. All right, now that we got the soles sanded down, I'm going to put some glue on them. Mindful to get those stitches really glued. I'm going to follow that up with a little bit of acetone to help remove any residues. Oils, extra dirt. It only takes a couple of seconds to dry, and then we'll put on some glue. We'll let these sit out in the sun for 10 minutes or so. Might do another coat on the leather, since the leather will absorb the glue a bit more than the rubber will. All right, now I need to glue it together. What I should have done and I didn't do is I should have lined these things up before I put glue on them so I knew where to go. Now I'm just gonna go in blind. Not blind, but there's not really a chance for a do-over. Once you stick these two together, they're pretty much set. I could rip everything off and do it again, but I'd rather not if I can avoid it. Okay, I hope that this is a decent position. I'll try to stick these together as best I can. We're gonna let it dry overnight. Where is my hammer? Starting to come together. Now that I got these glued on and hammered them on a little bit, I'm going to rough cut them and then let them dry overnight before I try a different knife. Okay, I did a rough cut and the boot is starting to take shape. I'm gonna let this dry overnight and then take it to the belt sander. One area of concern I have, and this always seems to happen to me because I'm not great at sanding soles yet, is or pressing them, I guess. Just the little gaps I see between the old outsole, which now we'll call the midsole, and our new white Christy outsole. There's just a gap, and I don't know if that's because I didn't sand the outsole flat enough, the leather outsole flat enough, and now it creates a little bit of a lip, and or if I just don't have enough glue or I'm not pressing hard enough. I'm not sure, but that's something I'd like to fix. I see these gaps because that's not going to look great if I sand these tomorrow and have gaps like that in there. So we'll see what I can do. I'll try adding a little glue and pressing these together some more. All right, I took an old bicycle inner tube and wrapped it around the sole really tightly to try to pull the sole to the midsole, and tacked in one of these old heel protectors in, and I'll let that sit overnight and see how we're doing. All right, I'm done with this project. I took these pair of red Wing Beckmans. Well, they were called the Gentleman Traveler when I bought them about 10, 15 years ago. Model 9014. The half soles had worn down, the heels were gone, and I really liked the look of, I think it was the 9165 model, which was black upper with the white soles, and I thought it would be pretty cool. So these were my very first pair of red Wings I bought, like I said, 10, 15 years ago, right at the height of kind of a rugged menswear trend, I guess, and these have stuck with me. I haven't worn them much in the last few years. As you can tell from some of my other videos, I have lots and lots of shoes and boots that I wear. But I felt it was time. I went down to Sederma, got these soles, put them on. I'm not that happy with my end result. Like I should say, I'm being hard on myself. They came out really well. There are opportunities for me to do better next time. I think when I sanded down the stitching, I should have sanded them even further because it prevented me from getting a nice, tight, flat surface for me to glue the outsole to the old leather outsole. And my sanding isn't that great. It was a little bit rough. I probably spent a couple hours between the machine, a rasp or an awl, I guess an awl. I didn't have glass, so I used a bit of blade and then sandpaper. Went with a natural finished weld. Put some wax on there to make it shine a little bit. I don't know if I'll do it brown at some point or maybe even do it black, but I thought the natural looked pretty good. So here are those end results. Looks pretty good. I'll try to do even better next time. Thank you for watching.